All right. Terence Crawford listed below Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao by ESPN on their top welterweight lists. Also, Terence Crawford says he wants to move to 154 and Errol Spence isn't ducking him. I know this is going to hurt Drink More Water's feelings, but we're going to talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, shout out to the Patreons. Definitely appreciate you guys' support. We got the negotiation series up and running, so definitely go check that out. Great for your personal life and your professional life. Also, thank you so much to the people that donate in the super chat, like Matthew Valentine and the like. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, thank you to everybody that tunes into the live streams Monday through Friday and Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time for OG Boxing Talk. Terence T. Bud Crawford is the third best welterweight in the welterweight division now. That Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman. Also, Terence Crawford says that he wants to move to 154 because he can't get any fight with the PBC fighters. It's impossible to make fights with the PBC fighters. And Errol Spence Jr. is not ducking them. All of those things came up yesterday, and let's talk about them. First and foremost, let's start with with the Terence Crawford somehow being below Manny Pacquiao rating in ESPN at welterweight. All right, man, come on. Let's be real about that. Terence Crawford, I do believe last time I checked, was the number 2 pound for pound fighter in boxing, right? But somehow number 2 pound for pound, not for me, not 2 pound for pound for me. Number 2 pound for pound for ESPN. So if he is number 2 pound for pound for ESPN, how could he possibly be underneath Terence Crawford as a welterweight? Terence Crawford is bigger than Terence Crawford is bigger than Manny Pacquiao. He started fighting at a weight that was higher than what Manny Pacquiao fought at. Manny Pacquiao fought at 152 one time several years ago against a 147 pounder in a catch weight bout. That's the biggest he's ever fought is 147. They're the same size. How can this guy be how can you on the same page rank Terence Crawford number 2 pound for pound, but behind Manny Pacquiao as a welterweight? That doesn't make any sense. Now, Errol Spence started at 150, actually had several fights at 154, moved down to 147 and fought at 140. You know, he fought just kind of like Keith Thurman did. They fight a couple fights at like 152, 154, fight some bigger guys, and then he moved down to 147. Same thing Terence Crawford did when he started. Had a couple fights in the beginning of his career at around the 140 range. And then when he moved up in serious competition, he shed a couple pounds and started at 135. But Errol Spence Jr. is actually a bigger guy than both of them. So I can understand why they would say that he's the top welterweight. The number 1 welterweight. How in the world do you justify the Terence Crawford Manny Pacquiao thing? Regardless, people justify it, and I'm sure in the comment section that there are people that will give me reasons for why that should be the case. Okay, there are people in the comment section of a video that I did that I keep getting comments on about Manny Pacquiao being the greatest fighter of all time. Although he lost to Floyd Mayweather, he also lost by knockout to Juan Manuel Marquez. He got knocked out a couple times to guys that weighed less than 126 pounds. And also, he's little. All those guys are little, and none of them are going to beat any of the top heavyweights. But that's what makes boxing so great. These conversations so fun because it's all subjective, and you get an opportunity to, to just to go back and forth and have a good, fun conversation as long as everybody's respectful. So that's what ESPN is on. I don't agree with it. I think Errol Spence Jr. is the top welterweight. I think that after that, it would be Terence Crawford. After that, I think maybe there's a good argument between Sean Porter and Manny Pacquiao, but there was no love given to Manny Pacquiao on the number one. Sean Porter. But what is not subjective, and what is purely objective in my opinion is objective. In my opinion, it is objective. Is that Terence Crawford would not be gaining anything by moving up to 154. If the reason that he's moving up to 154 pounds is because it's impossible to make fights with PBC fighters. Now, I'm not going to go over the fact too much into the fact other than to mention that he has fought PBC fighters before. But what I think he means is it's impossible to make a fight with these PBC champions. Okay, so I can distinguish between him fighting John Molina and him trying to get a fight with Errol Spence or trying to get a fight with Sean Porter or Manny Pacquiao now that Manny Pacquiao's a PBC fighter. And I'll say, okay, he's talking about champions. Does that make sense? You're going to be under the same situation at 154 pounds. J-Rock, Julian Williams, out of the great city of Philadelphia, is a unified champion there after he beat Jared Hurd for his belts. And I think that's the WBA and the IBF. You have Tony Harrison, who's another PBC fighter who has a WBC. The only other champion that you could fight over there that isn't PBC there is Jaime Munguia. And if you decide to fight Jaime Munguia and you win, you will be in the exact same situation you are in now at 147 pounds. You will be the WBO champion trying to get a fight with the WBC and IBF, WBA and IBF champion, and the WBC champion, all of which will be PBC fighters who own championship belts. You could move up to 160 and commit career suicide and go up there and try to fight Demetrius Andrade, the winner of Demetrius Andrade and Canelo, because that's what is rumored to be happening, or fight the winner of Gennady Golovkin and Derevyanchenko. If that's Gennady Golovkin, is Terence Crawford really going to go up there and try to fight Gennady Golovkin? That would be something. If he was to do that, that would be something. But as I see it right now, it's something you should not do. Okay? So, nah. Terence Crawford needs to stay at 147 pounds and try to get a fight with Errol Spence Jr. if and when Errol Spence Jr. gets done with Sean Porter and Manny Pacquiao. If not, my understanding is, because a lot of this information came out as far as what he was going to do at 154 pounds, a lot of this stuff came out on a Twitter feed where he got on there and said, hey, let's talk boxing, which I think is a great move for Terence Crawford to get out there and actually exchange with fans. I think that's a really good thing, man. That's something that I think he should do more of. If he doesn't already do, I'm sure he does. He probably does it more than I know he does, because I don't pay attention to Twitter. I don't pay attention to his Twitter page or many people's Twitter pages at all, or Instagram pages and that. So, but it is a good thing that he's out there communicating with fans. But in this Twitter stream that went on, he mentioned, somebody asked him, is it true that your contract is up in a year? And he put on there an emoji with the guy doing this, like shush, like the little emoji with somebody with their finger over their mouth, like not talking about it. Well, if you're not talking about it in a year, if Terence Crawford doesn't bounce from there and go somewhere, okay, if he doesn't want to do his own promotional thing and have everything, all the stuff that comes along with that, hey man, that's on him, right? But if he wants to really make it easier for him to get fights within the welterweight division with the other champions in the division, then, you know, for the foreseeable future, he's going to have to be able to deal. He's going to have to be able to deal with the PBC. That's just what it is, man. You know, and so if he's willing, but if he goes and he re-signs with Top Rank in a year, then you know what the deal is. The deal is that he says he wants to fight Errol Spence and those guys, but he doesn't want it that bad, right? He's gonna do what he needs to do in the ring in order for people to believe that he deserves the fight and want to see the fight, which he's already done, and I'm sure he'll continue to do. But as far as actually putting himself in the best possible position to get that fight, if he re-signs with Top Rank when this contract is up, then you know that he's not that serious. He's not that serious about it, man. It's like being qualified for a job and you want to make a ton of money, and there's a company got a job, but that job is 2 states over, and you don't take the job. Well, yeah, you know, obviously you want to make more money, but you don't want the money that bad enough where you're willing to get up and move. You know, and there's a lot of people that do that on jobs. That's a real thing. Like, hey, there's a lot of changing, a lot of moving parts that come into play when you move, right? But sometimes you got to move for a better opportunity, and we'll see if he's willing to move for a better opportunity somewhere away from Top Rank. That is, like I said, doesn't mean that he has to go sign with the PBC. He could be independent. He could sign with, I don't know, whoever, Rock Nation, somebody. If he wants somebody to do his managerial act for him. But, you know, anyway, that's it on that. And this video went a little long. I didn't intend for it to go 12 minutes. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.